sweetest talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do our review of Game of Thrones Season 4, Episode 5, First of His Name. Now, this was a very, very good episode. Obviously, the opening of the episode was them crowning Tommen as the new king. Tommen and Marjorie share some nice little googly eyes during the ceremony, and then after the ceremony, she's looking upon him or gazing upon him from the rafters, and immediately her line of sight gets cut off by a very stern look by Cersei. Now, before I get to that next sequence, when I first saw that, I thought all hell was going to break loose. And then during the show, you see her give her that gaze. She goes through the crowd, works her way up to Marjorie, and right there, I said to myself, man, shit's going to pop off. And the conversation completely went in a direction I did not expect. Now, I'm not saying that what Cersei was saying was sincere. I know it was sincere about how she feels about her son. She was obviously very honest with Marjorie about, you would have hated it, and I was shocked at some of the things he's done. But it seemed like at some point she was going to almost ask Marjorie to show Tommen how to be a good king. And before she could even say that, and that's the feeling I got. I'm not saying she would have said that, but that's it looks like it was heading in that direction. And before she could say that, Marjorie kind of made it sound like she didn't want to be queen and she hadn't thought about it, which we all know is full of crap. But I think her answer to Cersei was more strategy than trying to be just play dumb. I think she felt Cersei was trying to get out of her, hey, I want to be queen, and trying to see if this is like a battle of trying to get a feel for each other. What's in your head? No, what's in your head? That's what I kind of got out of that. I really thought Cersei was going to go over there and talk some shit and pop off, but it didn't happen, and that's a good thing. So later on, we see Cersei with her father, Tywin. They're in his chambers, and he basically breaks the news and tells her, hey, we're broke. We have no money. We ran out of money 3 years ago. They discuss the Iron Bank, and basically now Cersei knows why he wants to gather together with the Tullys, with the Tyrells, because they'll help pay the debt, and he feels that's the best option, and that's a clever move. So then we see her later, and there's a lot of Cersei in this episode. We see her approach Prince Oberyn, which immediately the first thing I thought when she approached him was, all right, she's going to try and butter him up to get some favoritism because he's one of the judges, or at least Tywin approached him to be one of the judges. And they're having a nice conversation about avenging people that have died in their lives that they love, and him talking about his fifth daughter and how his fifth daughter is named after his sister, so every time he says it, it's sad. Very nice exchange of dialogue there. And at the very end, when they got to the pier or to the water, I said to myself, all right, this is where she's gonna lay down the law. Look, I want you to... But no, in a very, very twist of fate, so to speak, she just expresses how much she misses her daughter. Tyrion, who sent her off in I think it was season 2, sent her off when he was the Hand. And basically, when you go back there, can you bring this gift? And it's a nice boat that she had made for her, and to tell her that I love her and that I miss her or whatever. And Prince Oberyn seemed surprised. Like, the look on his face was like, oh, yeah, okay, well, no problem. So very interesting episode for Cersei. Like, we're so used to seeing her just be this crazy bitch that she actually, I don't want to say she showed a softer side, but she kind of left all the stuff, like the politics and the hate. She was just, like, this is about her kids, this episode. Like, Prince Tommen and wanting him to be a good king, still mourning her son, missing her daughter. And while it's not going to change how I feel about the character, it was a nice change. It was a nice change of pace for the character. I think for some other people watching the show, they'll be a little affected by that and maybe come back and see her in a different light. Me, I won't. It's just not happening. She's done too much wrong for me no. So moving on from that, we get to the Vale, and Sansa gets there with Littlefinger, and we get to see, I can't remember her name at the moment, because when they first showed the scene where her son is sitting on her bosom, the first thing I thought to myself was season 1 when he kept sucking on her boob. So that's the first thing I thought was going to happen, and because it's kind of gross. So I'm kind of waiting for that to happen during this whole time, so I can kind of go like this, that I wasn't kind of paying attention to what her name was. Is it Elena? I don't know. Elena, something like that. I know one of you guys will correct me in the comments, so thank you in advance. But she welcomed Sansa, which to me was the biggest bullshit welcome in the world. I don't know if anyone else saw that. I knew right away that she was just, yeah, whatever. But then she threw herself at Peter, and I was kind of, I don't know, something about that just grossed me out, the way it happened. And you could see he was, like, so disinterested. And she's pushing to get married, and he's like, yeah. He's kind of blowing, because he doesn't want. He has no interest in her. He's like, yeah, whatever. He's just using her. But then she reveals big secret. So she's involved in killing John Aaron, her own husband. She killed him. Had an affair with Peter, who's the one who provided her with the resources. Holy shit! What? So really big reveal there. I was surprised by that because that happened in season 1, and to this day I think some people just kind of forgot about that. They just kind of accepted the fact that the Lannisters did it. So very, very surprising there. So the Lannisters are not involved for John Aaron's death. Interesting stuff. Interesting developments. And now you see that Littlefinger is probably the biggest player on the down low in this show, man. He's got his hands in everything. So it's going to be interesting to see where he's going to go going forward now, because now I look at him in a whole new light. And maybe it's a good thing that Sansa has him as a friend, if he genuinely cares for her, because I don't really know at this point. He uses everyone, and we know that if he has Sansa, he has the North. At least that's how I see it. So then we move on. We see Arya on the Hound, and Arya's naming off all the people she wants to kill. And I love how at the end she's like, the Hound, and he goes like this. Like, he couldn't believe it. Like, dude, like, really, you're surprised that she wants to kill you? Honestly, you killed one of her friends. So, and it was funny because the next morning when he woke up and she wasn't there, he's like, now I know he's probably doing that because he's like, all right, that's my meal ticket. Where'd she go? I got to capture her. But for a split second, I said to myself, oh, maybe he's a little nervous that she kind of snuck off and tried to sneak up on him. But nah, the Hound doesn't fear anything. So I knew right away, yeah, he's not scared of that. He just wants to find his gold. That's his gold. That's his meal ticket. So then he finds her at the lake, by the lake, practicing her sword stuff. Still remembers all her moves. And he's basically mocking her and mocking the swordsman who trained her, and pisses her off. She goes and stabs him in the belly. The damn sword doesn't even pierce him, and he smacks her. And I didn't disagree with what he said. He said, he died because he didn't have armor and the other guy did, and he didn't have a sword. Like when he was like the greatest swordsman, didn't have a sword. It's like, oh my god, he's doing an excellent job. That's like a good troll right there. He trolled her hard, and it pissed her off. So, but at the same time, he's only provoking her even more. So we'll see how that plays out. Something tells me she's not going to make it to the Vale, but it would be nice. It would be nice if she did make it, if he did bring her there, so she could reunite with Sansa. That'd be great. So then, move up to the Night's Watch, raiding Krasters Keep to get rid of the mutinies. And we see that Locke slowly goes ahead, scouts for them, okay, and he finds Bran and his party, and right away he knew that one of them must be him, minus the girl, of course. He reports back to Jon Snow in the Night's Watch, and he tells him, all right, they're all drunk and this and that, but there's this one little hut we should stay away from because there's dogs in it or whatever. Comes out, nighttime hits, and they raid the keep. Everybody avoids the huts, and the hut that Locke talked about. And during the melee, Locke sneaks off to the hut and immediately grabs Bran, or what he thinks is Bran initially, and then he cuts the leg and he gets a confirmation that it's him because of his crippled legs. He can't feel anything. Picks him up, kidnaps him. Bran goes all warg on him, takes control of Hordor. Hordor lifts him up, separates his neck from his shoulder in a very grotesque manner, and proceeds to go and free the other people. Jon crawling his way to safety and sees his brother. And at that point, I was like, man, I would love to see these two guys reunite. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. I guess as a consolation prize, we got to see Jon Snow reunite with his dog. I did really, really like the fight scene between him and... I don't even know the guy's name either. These guys come and go so quick. I just can't recall their names. But it was a nice fight scene between them two in the hut. Him with the daggers and the skills. Jon Snow got bested. He basically got saved by the Craster girl, and then shoved his sword through the back of that guy's head, out of his mouth, and c'est la vie. And we have yet another excellent episode of Game of Thrones. I'm very much looking forward to next week because we're going to see Tyrion Lannister's trial. And that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I've been waiting for that. I hope a good chunk of the episode is dedicated to that because I love to see, Tyrion in these kinds of situations because he's always very clever and very smart about how he gets out of them. So it'll be interesting to see. So anyway, you guys can expect my Game of Thrones preview video this week. I usually do it Mondays, but sometimes I'll do it a little bit later. So just keep your eyes peeled for when it's up. And that's it for this review. What did you guys think about the episode? I loved it. I think it's a strong season so far. I'm very much enjoying myself. Please keep in mind that the comments will be set to approval to avoid any spoilers from book trolls. Outside of that, I want to thank you all that have been commenting on other videos and keeping it spoiler free. And yeah, that's it. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do our review of Game of Thrones Season 4, Episode 5, First of His Name. Now, this was a very, very good episode. Obviously, the opening of the episode was them crowning Tommen as the new king. Tommen and Marjorie share some nice little googly eyes during the ceremony, and then after the ceremony, she's looking upon him or gazing upon him from the rafters, and immediately her line of sight gets cut off by a very stern look by Cersei. Now, before I get to that next sequence, when I first saw that, I thought all hell was going to break loose. And then during the show, you see her give her that gaze. She goes through the crowd, works her way up to Marjorie, and right there, I said to myself, man, shit's going to pop off. And the conversation completely went in a direction I did not expect. Now, I'm not saying that what Cersei was saying was sincere. I know it was sincere about how she feels about her son. She was obviously very honest with Marjorie about, you would have hated it, and I was shocked at some of the things he's done. But it seemed like at some point she was going to almost ask Marjorie to show Tommen how to be a good king. And before she could even say that, and that's the feeling I got. I'm not saying she would have said that, but that's the kind of, that it looks like it was heading in that direction.